Around 25 years ago, a little German automobile company known as Mercedes-Benz set up shop in India. And this year, the E-Class, or more commonly known as the W124, was the first car. Now, almost a quarter of a century later, we have that, the all-electric EQC. Now plainly you can see the big star on the grille up front, and yes, that clearly spells Mercedes. Question is it a real Mercedes? Does it have enough Merc DNA among its circuit boards to qualify as one? Here to keep it honest and help us answer these questions is one of Merc's icons, the W124. Let the DNA test begin. First, let's look at what we have here. The W124. Now clearly this isn't just any old Mercedes. For one, it's the car that started Mercedes' journey in India. And then this here is considered to be one of the last Mercedes without the influence of cost cutting on engineering and quality levels. It clearly looks like it's been hewn from a single block of metal. Confident with a regal air, the W124 is a sea-smoothened wedge. Its square shoulders and strong lines give it immense visual strength, and I think the big Merc grille up front looks timeless. Love those tail lights too, and even the 15-inch wheels sort of look right. The EQC is also imposing and regal. Not only does the massive front grille and the techie headlights impress as standalone design bits, these details also go a long way into giving it a distinct Mercedes identity. So much for the exteriors, but let's take a look inside the W124 first. Now many of you will be wondering what an electric SUV with four-wheel drive has to do with this 90s limousine from Mercedes. It's petrol powered, it's rear-wheel drive. But what we're looking for here is Mercedes-like traits. And there are a whole host of them all around this cabin. Up first, that focus on safety. It could be this typically Mercedes large style steering wheel. This is one of the first few with the airbag which said SRS for supplementary restraint system, and you have it there as well for the passenger. So back in the day, 25 years ago, twin airbags, and yeah, that was a big thing. So that focus on safety, good quality seat belts, a nice comfortable seat which is well anchored. These are among the traits we look for in the EQC. Build quality next. Then of course there's that legendary solid build of the Mercedes-Benz cars. The toughness, and of course you tell by opening the door, that clack from the lock, pretty iconic, and the thump, that door shut. Let me just do it again. It's difficult to believe this car is 25 years old. Then of course there's the build of the dash, the tough and high quality build, which again I'm pretty amazed by just looking at how beautifully this wood is lined up even all these years down the line. The quality of these plastic buttons, the switch for the light, that's for the rear light, the reading light at the rear, the way the aircon knobs function, that recirc button, solid, chunky, and of course the power window buttons here. Equally amazing is this iconic gear lever from Mercedes. Of course you won't have a manual gear lever on the EQC, but I just can't help remembering how well Mercedes made its manual gearboxes. Now interestingly, there's no glove box here. This is one of the first cars with a passenger airbag. It just is pretty unique. No glove box at all there. There's just one sort of tiny ashtray here and a cubby hole in here behind these shutters. Seats are important too in Mercedes' scheme of things. Now seats are fundamental to the Mercedes experience, and here too the back seat is beautiful. It's nice and supple and soft. It gives, when you sit inside the seat, and the backrest curls around your shoulders to give you
super supportive. It's even comfortable today.
You are sat a bit low, surprisingly, but sitting in the back here is comfortable despite the fact the W124 today is probably closer in size to the C-Class. Time to swap to the EQC and see how it stacks up.
So in the EQC, and yes, right away, that tough build is apparent. Feels solidly put together. The center console feels robust and everything clicks home with great precision and a feeling that it will last forever. Even the famous door shut is quite excellent. It doesn't quite have the thunk of the W124, but it feels solidly put together nonetheless.
The EQC is also a modern Mercedes, and of course it has all the modern safety kit like ABS, ESP, but it also has pre-safe side bags at the rear and a knee bag for the driver. In addition, this one gets a Euro NCAP 5-star rating.
The EQC also has the requisite material quality and the fit and finish. Take for example a look at these buttons, how beautifully they're placed in this chrome piping. And here again the chrome covered buttons with their knurled tops absolutely function superbly. So that quality, that feeling of quality, that quality air, it's right there. Where things seem to have moved on a bit is in the color palette. Whereas earlier there was subtlety with the greys and the wood tone, is a bit more color with these bright blue LEDs, the copper tint here, and in general a bit more flashiness. Now this back seat is a bit more upright, and because there's a battery under the floor, your knees are slightly up, but the cushioning is just spot on. Soft, supple and extremely comfortable. Typically Mercedes.
Smooth and refined is also exactly what the W124 feels like from behind the wheel.
What an absolute pleasure it is to cruise along in this 25-year-old W124. It's smooth, the car wafts along, the engine is silent, and in case you need to overtake somebody, all you do is put your foot down. Now, acceleration isn't strong in the traditional sense, but it does gather pace at a rapid rate in the power band. And that makes it pretty comfortable to drive, especially at this long, loping pace. And it's such a pleasure to look down on that star on the bonnet and see it bobbing along the road in a soft and supple manner.
As ever, the W124 feels effortless and easy.
The other very Mercedes thing is just how smooth and creamy and refined this engine feels. The gearbox clicks home with great precision, the clutch is easy to modulate, and the organ pedal, like accelerator, though not extremely responsive, gets you the desired performance in an unhurried and relaxed manner. Once up to speed, it just feels tremendous.
As on the EQC and other mainstream Mercedes, the focus is always on ride comfort.
Now, the supple ride of a Mercedes is famous, and this E-Class is no different. In fact, I'm just marveling as to how much better these 20-year-old cars were when it came to ride quality compared to today's cars. It's just gliding over most of the hard bumps.
And then there's the over-engineered feel.
And of course, then there's that robust engineering. The ability to make something last and last and last. And of course, Mercedes is famous for that.
Even electric power is metered in a very Mercedes-like manner. There's no sudden spike in power, no being slammed in the back, and this thing just accelerates in a smooth and linear manner.
Now, electric cars, of course, are inherently more silent and refined than their equivalent petrol or diesel cousins. But even here, the refinement has been taken to the next level. Tire noise is subdued, there's double glazing on the windows to cut out even more road noise, and even the suspension works extremely silently.
Ride quality is very good too.
Now, despite the heavy battery under the floor and the suspension being stiffened to take the extra load, ride here is supple and soft and pretty silent, very unelectric car-like. In short, typically Mercedes.
On its ice-cooled 20-inch wheels, the EQC doesn't ride as well as it could have on smaller ones, and the ground clearance isn't good either. But what's clear is that the major dynamic objective, of course, is still ride. Another thing that makes it a Mercedes is its focus on high-speed stability.
And as ever, the EQC feels stable and comfortable and confidence-inspiring at speed. It just feels so at home, and that again is typical of the way these cars are set up.
So to answer our original question, does the EQC have enough Mercedes-Benz DNA in it? The answer is a resounding yes. Not only does it have absolute cutting-edge tech, it also has all the must-have Mercedes traits. The focus on refinement, the comfort-oriented suspension, the solid interiors, smooth power delivery, plush seats. It clearly is, even without the star, recognizable as a Mercedes. And that, in this day and age of fast-changing tech and bland characterless cars, is a massive achievement.